Welcome back, mere mortalites, to another edition of the Mere Mortals in Motion. You do have one here, and today I want to be talking about mental wealth. What the hell does that actually mean? Don't worry, I'll tell you. I'll describe it. There's a few things that I want to get through in terms of its, what does that actually mean? Why do I want to talk about that concept? How does it apply across 5 particular different items around mental wealth and how you can do it? As we used to do back in the mere models, and I'm liking more and more. I want to be precise. I want to be descriptive. So my little notes that I gathered using AI and a few other tools. Mental wealth. What the hell is it? What are we talking about? Proactive investment in habits that build long-term mental resilience and an ability to thrive. So mental wealth is just this concept around borrowing a few different things that people talk about, right? The language of fitness and health and how it all sort of compiles to be able to thrive, not just on the easier times, but when it gets hard, when it's difficult to actually go and apply the various learnings and things that you have to do, or the protocols. It's kind of bundling them all together, bringing it down to into that's a collection or wealthy collection of various practices, habits, ideas, tools, things that you know how to do and apply so that it can apply better. For me, obviously, we're talking about it in a fitness and health perspective. So there's a variety of things that we'll talk about that apply for that. Again, lots of personal stories that I'll relate to it that it might apply for you. And hopefully it's also a chance for you at home to leave some comments, interact, send me messages, see if it aligns. Again, more about sharing the learnings here at the Mere Mortals in Motion channel. So I've got 5, as I mentioned, sort of a key breakdowns around mental wealth. How you go about building that, or that ability, or that capability. Because again, there's a lot of underlying parts that build it, all collectively then spinning up into one big piece. So there's 5. I want to be talking about in this particular order. There's exercise, because I love exercise. Some tools and some supplements, or sort of the additionals. 3, I want to talk about sleep. 4, stress management, and 5, some diet. So those are the key 5, breakdowns that you'd say would go into mental wealth. And I'll kind of just share a little bit behind each one, not in any scientific way, not in any deep way, but in a more conversational way that maybe helps you go and retrieve and talk about it. So the first one that I talked about there is exercise. What are the investments and habits in exercise that you do? And I'll tell you a story from my perspective. I started doing swimming when I was very, very young. 14, 15 years old, I believe it is. Mum, cross-check that. But it was a before school type of event. I would go and swim roughly around, I think it was 45 minutes to an hour before school, through the summer, through the winter. And those years were very formative to laying a foundation to exercise. I've continued exercising basically since then. Really got into gym when I was 19, 20 years old. So you could say I've been training in gym easily 12 plus years. Overall, from a fitness perspective, take apart the played soccer and tennis and a few other things back in my youth. It's been part of it for most of my life, exercise. And so when I don't really have to think about depositing the extra effort down for exercise. It naturally comes my way. In fact, I have to pull myself back in order to say whoa, I need to go and distribute it into different things. And you'll see why I'm talking about it and why I've structured it in this particular way with the 5 breakdowns. But for exercise, so personally, I haven't seen a struggle in doing it. I've always wanted to really dive into it. There's probably 2 parts to the exercise. One, the ability to see progress, or to understand that there is more gradual progress that can be found through sustained, consistent effort. That aspect, that concept, is wonderful from a mental wealth perspective, right? Being able to build up the knowledge, the internal knowledge, because I can tell you about it, and honestly, I'm telling you about it. But if you haven't progressed and done it, you probably don't understand what that actually means in terms of chipping away and putting in effort, 45 minutes, 1 hour per day over 10 plus years. There's just ridiculous benefits that you say, right? And I've started to see some of those benefits reaping the rewards, let's just say, from an exercise perspective. And from a mental wealth, it's the aptitude, the attitude to things, the discipline to go and do other aspects beyond fitness and health. That exercise itself has been able to kind of help me out, right? To thrive in various environments, not just fitness. However, and here's the little extra story, my friend, Brody Smith, he sent a message to me 4 weeks ago now, maybe 3 weeks ago. He said, "Hey, someone's dropped out of our little team. We want to go and participate in a competition, which is next weekend. Will you jump in?" And again, this is a slightly CrossFit-y type workout, let's just say, or type of competition. And I thought about it for a little bit and said, yeah, sure, why not? We did a bit of a practice just this weekend gone by, and it was fine. I was able to perform, to do without too much of a struggle, too much of a mental burden. And honestly, I really enjoy that it's that general purpose training that I've gotten to a point now where I can do a lot of modalities, and that in itself builds up that mental wealth, the ability to be resilient to or participate in a lot of things that come up, which is a really important thing. So that's the first one, exercise. The second one, and again, the list is going down the path of what I do really well to the really, really terrible stuff. So yeah, you'll get to see the mere mortal in action. But the second one is tools and subs. And the reason I want to talk about this is there's this product that I've talked about it on the podcast before, which is Magic Mind, right? Now Magic Mind, they've been really kind, and this is the second round of the focus shots that they've sent across my way. The first round, I think it was a packs of 15. So I've had 15 in this, I believe the sixth and the second round that I've been having. Now, they've been kind enough to also give us a link, which is magicmind.com/MMJAN, MMJAN, because I've got a 45% focus and sleep package discount. So go and try that if you want. To be honest, they provided this to me for free. So they've been really kind. If you wanted to go check them out, do so. I think I've done a review already on the Magic Mind product. But something like this, right, from a tools and subs perspective, what I found with something like a Magic Mind is that I have it alongside a lot of other things that I have in my day-to-day. Again, going through the past few years, whether it's just all the traditional type of supplements that I've had to starting to try out, items that are combined in ingredients, especially in liquid form. I'll talk about liquid form in a moment. It's just been a habitual thing. So for me, something like this, I'll be taking it nice and early in the morning, which kind of coincides with I'll be having caffeine on the side, but then something that's non-caffeine / releases the energy, let's just say. We can define energy in very different ways to be a little sharper. I wouldn't say so, they call out lower stress and calm energy. For me, it's the sharp mind. When I have this and I combine it with coffee, I feel it. In fact, for the mere mortalites at home who maybe don't know this, I'm usually fast paced. I like the fast pace. I see a substantial difference when I get on the juice of Magic Mind, and it gets pretty hectic in my mind in terms of the speed that I run. So I've got to also be careful around that. But the tools like that, or tools like a variety of things. Again, I'll list out some of the other things I currently take. And I'll map that back to mental wealth. In the mornings when I wake up, I will have at the moment a Magic Mind, just right in the morning, but I'll also be having some creatine. I'll be having beta-alanine, some sort of pre-workout, and some D-aspartic acid. And I'll mix that all up, especially sometimes if I'm doing a run in the morning as well, I'll mix it in with some carbohydrate type powder. And again, it's liquid form. I've been finding that the liquid form, at least for me, I can form a good habit out of it, a good routine to have it again and again. So it's fantastic in that particular way. I was finding with tablets, it just wasn't working for me. So the call out there is find the ways that are going to work for you, as opposed to just because it's in a tablet format and this is what X person does. It might not work your way. Brian Johnson, I believe his name is, the guy trying to extend his life. He takes something like 70 or 80 or 90 pills per day. I couldn't do that. No way. But mix it into a lot of juices or liquids, mix it all up, nice little potion. That's probably pretty good for me. I'll go and take that. And so what I found is all of those various products, tools, and our other tools could also be a hot bath, which I try to do, or a cold bath. Again, if you've got a really cold bath out there, fantastic. If you've got a sauna, fantastic. For me, I just use my bathtub and I'll put warm water, I'll pull cold water, but it's this variety of things which almost just, again, supplement. They supplement my ability to go and perform things, to be anti-fragile, to thrive. They're definitely not as big as a plus as exercise, but they are that little extra bonus that if I get to do them, so with these tools like foam rolling or bath or whatnot, they're not a giant game changer, but they're maybe a little mental tick that goes, oh, made me feel a little bit better, made me feel a little bit more able. And with the actual products themselves in terms of liquids I'm drinking and whatnot, that has a not substantial, but a pretty big difference. I can definitely see it. It's not that I can't do without, and this is the trouble with sometimes with tools and subs. Be careful that you don't then rely on them, in that if you don't have them, then you can't perform. This morning, for instance, I woke up, I didn't have a Magic Mind, I didn't have any caffeine, I just had some creatine and drinking a little bit of the carbohydrate mix, because it was largely just a run this morning and a little bit of gym workout, and it was okay. I didn't need the pre-workout, didn't need anything else to do that. I could just go and perform it, the exercise, and part of that is because I've done exercise now for a long time. Part of it is also not forming that reliance, because with that reliance, you can't take away from the mental wealth aspect of it. So that was the second one, tools and subs. Again, if you've got things out there that you're using, there's so many that you can be implementing protocols, the habits. Tell me, keen to understand, see what it is. Third, that I want to talk about is sleep. So with sleep, it's starting to go down the path of I'm becoming much more mere mortal with some of these ones. So let's go. Sleep when it comes to mental wealth. Again, you can go and listen to the very detailed conversations from Matthew Walker and plenty of other people that out there that talk about sleep. The concept of 8 hours of sleep, or the concept of getting enough sleep so that you are recovered, is important. If you are, I can't remember the percentage, but if you are, whatever it is, 20-30% underslept, it's equivalent to being intoxicated to a intoxication of level of something or other, right? So put it plainly, if you don't sleep enough, you're not performing your best, you're not operating your best mentally, physically, etc. I've got to say personally, I don't do sleep that well. My sleep efficiency, so not the time in bed that I'm not the time that I'm in bed, but the time that I'm actually asleep, as per my watch, which again can be a little bit off, right? Think about the tools that you're using, how accurate it is versus precise. But at least in terms of its average or trend, it looks like I get around a 90% sleep efficiency. And I think that's more natural than it is me doing something about it. The importance of it for me is, I'll give you some numbers. If I'm looking at sub 5 hours or 5.5 hours of sleep in terms of being asleep, that's like I need it. That's like minimum that I've found. When I start going above 7, 8 hours, well, when I go above 7.5 hours, 8 hours, I feel a little bit groggy, a little bit too much. So my sweet spot would be 6 to 7 hours, honestly. If I was trying to really optimize for better muscle roundness or improved size, perhaps for sports or a physical performance, I would go towards a bit of a heavier sleeping, and professionals out there sleep even more. I think there was Andy Galpin has talked about 10 hours of sleep, even 12 hours of sleep with extra naps and whatnot, just for that extra recovery. Again, pick your poison depending on what aspect of building the mental wealth and also physical wealth means around that. If you're looking for optimization, then a lot of recovery, especially through sleep, is going to be key. For me personally, I go, it's got to be enough so that I can go and then do everything else that I'm trying to do. Again, the ability to thrive. I wouldn't be in the way that I perform in life, what I do in life. I wouldn't be able to thrive if I was sleeping 12 hours a day. That's just the reality. I'm a dad. I'm a businessman. I run things. It's not going to work out if I'm sleeping 12 hours a day. So I deprioritize that aspect of it. And for me, thriving sits in a balance, sits somewhere in the middle. But I will also call out, I do use, or at least I try to have the curtains, pulled back so it's nice and dark. I am attempting to be as cool as possible, although it is sometimes difficult with my partner not wanting it to be as cool. So you got to play around with that aspect and the reality of life. I could tell you that, I could go get an 8 sleep or something else to help change the temperature. I just haven't, right? This is just realities where we live in. So we got to be realistic about it. But sleep is it's a crucial piece around mental wealth, about physical wealth. Think about if you're not getting enough, or if your sleep quality or efficiency is real shit. If you're sleeping or being in bed for 9 hours or only getting what seems to be 6 hours of sleep, or worse, think about maybe, again, going back, is there any subs, anything that you need there? Is it a extension of usage of lights, or eating too close to your sleep, or insert whatever? try as best as you can to get that sleep efficiency better. So at least you don't have to be in bed for as long. But again, go listen to a lot of other good stuff out there around sleep. I'm just kind of calling out the importance. The fourth one I want to talk, and I guess what you want to deposit, the proactive investment for mental wealth, stress management. Now this one, I don't know. I don't know, Immortalites. I don't know if I particularly do well with this. In fact, I'd say it's worse than sleep. Now, I'm gifted with sleep in that I don't need a whole host, and my efficiency of it is really good. So yay for me. But my stress management, I do tend to just plow my days full of back-to-backs with everything that is going in life. And I will be frank, it gets towards the end of the weeks, Fridays, maybe a Saturday, where I go, wow, man, I'm done. Like, I'm tired, I'm mentally burdened. And this is I'd probably say more specifically, physically, I do feel a little bit burnt out every time it gets towards the end of the week. Not chronically, but I do have to do certain things to make sure I just breathe, unwind, move forward. And I've been getting better in that. So that, from a stress management perspective, has been great. If you haven't been doing that, I would say find the way that you can unwind at a more acute, quick perspective, and over a long term as well, over a week or a month, find other ways that you can do that. But I have found myself that I'm not as proactive, right, with the proactive investment. But stress management, at least for me personally, I'm not as proactive. I have been getting better, but I'm not still as proactive as I would say exercise or my sleep or my tools and subs. I need to get better at that. And the importance around that is you want it to be from a mental wealth and your physical and your fitness. It's a marathon. It's going to be long term. The caveat here is, of course, if you're aiming for an Olympics or you're trying to win, X thing in the next 4 months, or you're really optimizing for performance, fuck it. Manage it as well as you can, but you're going to be stressed. You're going to have cortisol levels. You're going to have all various things, but you're optimizing for one particular thing. Me and maybe the rest of the Me Immortalites at home, it's a more long-term view around mental wealth. So the management that you place in terms of handling stress, lowering your cortisol, whether it's because it's being caused by stress, and stress can be good, stress can be bad. So applied stress from exercise, from doing hard things because you want to put yourself into that position for improvement, for growth, that can be a good thing. Again, as long as you don't overdo it. Sometimes you get stress from life where just random things will happen. You need to deal with them. Over time, doing the consciously hard things can build that anti-fragility up so that you can manage whatever stress comes to your life, whether planned or unplanned, well. Again, for me, what does that look like? So from the acute perspective, I've been finding doing the non-sleep deep rest 10-minute protocol from Andrew Huberman, although you can probably find different sort of forms of that out there. Awesome. That has been really good. Kind of pairs up with the lower sleep that I've been getting, but just the ability to just lay down or sit 10 minutes, relax halfway through the day. Awesome. That has really, that's a big change around managing stress, just because I pause, able to quiet the mind, really almost fall asleep, basically go into what I would feel is REM sleep, and then get back into it. That's been good. But on a more long form stress management, for me, I've been finding spending maximum amount of time with the family and really quieting down everything else that's going on around me. That's been really powerful. Over the last 2 days, actually, that we've done that over the afternoons, and it was beautiful. I've reflected that on my notes as well. But just the ability to then manage that through those formats has been really fantastic. And the fifth one I'll talk about, which you'd think Me Immortalites at home, I do this well. Diet, food. No, I am currently, because it hasn't always been, but this final one for my mental wealth has been terrible. And I think my friends really know that. Me and my partner know this. It isn't a secret. I just haven't been eating very well, and eating correctly can be a pretty big game changer. I am goddamn lucky that I like to exercise a lot. Otherwise, I feel like I would be an obese individual, or at least a very unhealthy individual. I'm not eating out or takeaway every day, but I'm finding myself that I'm making the choices towards either one, eating unhealthy food, and by that I mean more processed food or just quick food, or two, which kind of even worse, just forgetting to eat or bypassing eating because I've got other stuff to do. Case in point, many a time, let's just say 4 or 5 days out of the week, not because I'm intentional about this, but I will be waking up super early. I'll be working out, for an hour and a half, so expending energy. I'll perhaps drink coffee in the morning, looking after my daughter, and then be coming home, be working. It'll easily get to around midday, maybe a little bit later, 2 p.m. I might have a handful of nuts. Maybe I'll grab a couple of like quick little bites, maybe some bread. And if I'm lucky, I will make some lunch, but then I won't really be eating a proper meal until dinner. Now, what's the problems around that? For me specifically, am I getting enough protein? Food in general is good for keeping your metabolism going and everything else. And so what I end up doing, right now I'm trying to lose weight. And if you do not eat in a good way, and for me, that's generally a more frequent eating with high protein, generally low carbs, good amounts of fat, what I'll find myself is I will just undereat, and the undereating will not even be beneficial towards losing weight because it'll just shooting myself in the foot with my metabolic rate, as well as just making me a little bit more limp, let's just say, in the gym because I'm just tired or sore, or my legs are not recovering and everything else. So diet, man, that's a proactive investment I'm not making currently towards mental wealth. I should be doing that. I'm telling you, me and Moralites do it. I'm telling myself, one, do it, goddammit, get better at that. But we've got to be realistic as well. There's a million things out there. You can't be the best at them. You can't be perfect at all of them. Maybe some people are. And for you, you're not a mere mortal. Thank you very much. Up there you go. But for me and other individuals at home, that's just a reality. So, for me, right now, my proactive investments towards mental wealth, exercise, SUPs, good with that, sleep, getting better, stress management, okay, doing some things, diet, out the window, get better with that. Those are the 5 key things as well that I guess you should be on the lookout, when you think about mental wealth and you think about your resilience, the ability to thrive when the pressure comes, because it will come, right? The challenges will come, the obstacles will present themselves, your mental wealth or your collective skill sets and protocols and habits and actions will determine what you do when those come up. And yeah, again, they will come up. They do get heavy. They do get challenging. What are you going to do about it? Yeah, Moralites. I think that's everything I want to talk about for mental wealth. Again, if you want to go and grab some Magic Mind, the CTA, the click to action link below wherever I'm posting this. Again, magicmind.com/MMJAN for the January, because this is January sale that they're doing. I recommend the guys. They're cool. I like the taste of it. I had one just literally, I drank it literally just before. But make your decision, right? So from the mere mortals in general, I'm only suggesting this because I liked it, and I like the people who I've been talking to directly around that. So they've been pretty cool about it. Mere Moralites, I'll leave it there. Please be well wherever you are in the world. One out.